My name is Kelli Lupas. I'm a senior studying biological sciences with a minor in psychology in the Honors Tutorial College. At the beginning of this summer, I went to the Netherlands to spend 2 weeks doing research in a laboratory that is run by a lady named Dr. Sarah Durston, who studies neuroimaging in attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in children. So she studies ADHD. If you're not familiar with it, it's a disorder of hyperactivity and impulsivity in kids. And what she does is she uses functional magnetic resonance imaging, which is a big scanner machine, and she basically takes the kids and has them go into the machine, and then you get brain scans on the kids while they're doing a task, like pushing a button or trying not to push a button, and then those tasks measure behavioral performance, like how they do, but it also is looking at what does their brain do when they're doing the tasks. So that's the basis of her research and what I did with her. That's those 2 weeks. So. Well, the trip's main purpose was for me to write my Fulbright grant statement of purpose, which was, it's very hard to write. It's 2 pages, single-spaced, of basically a background of what you want to study for your Fulbright project, which will be a year long, and then, describing the science behind it, and then what you'll do. And you would think that wouldn't be that hard, but it's very hard to fit into 2 pages. And so finishing that and having Dr. Durston approve it and having Beth here at the Ohio University, the Fulbright advisor, approve it was a huge success for me, especially that early in the summer. So. Dr. Durston was recommended to me by my thesis advisor, Julie Sohr. Dr. Sohr and I looked for international labs where I could do a Fulbright project, and it just so happened that Dr. Durston's was one of those. And when I emailed her and asked her if she would be willing to sort of consider doing a Fulbright project with me, she was so enthusiastic and said immediately right off the bat, without me even asking, that she would love for me to come and spend time with them and work in their lab for a little bit and get to meet them, and that she would just be thrilled if I would be able to do a Fulbright project with her in the future. I think HTC lends people a sense of a go-getter spirit. So in the sense that HTC not only taught me how to be like the kind of critical thinker who could come up with my own Fulbright project and then propose it to someone overseas, all of my tutorials with professors prepared me for working very intimately with this doctor who I didn't really know that well, in forming this project. And communication skills, knowledge about what ADHD is, all of that has been gained from my tutorials, and I think that really showed through when I was working with Dr. Durston. I think she was really impressed with sort of the training that I've had as far as my interactions with adults and with researchers and things like that. I think step number 1 is do some online research and talk to people like your thesis advisor or tutorial professor who you really enjoyed working with. A lot of times they know people who you would never expect for them to know, and they can be your best resources for connections. Connections probably being the first step, and then after that, take an initiative and write them an email or call them, or offer to do both. Write them an email and then say, I will follow up with a phone call, and really make an effort to communicate with people, not just abroad, but also in the States for internships. If you're going to apply for an internship, probably the best thing you can do for yourself is ahead of time look and say, okay, is there a lab that I want to work in? Who heads up the lab? Like, maybe I should, contact this person. And I think that that's good. That's what you should do. The thing that I love about the Netherlands is that everybody rides a bike. And I didn't actually know that before I went. And I guess a lot of people do know that, but that was something that had never come up in my, studies of Holland. And going there, it's amazing. there are roads, but next to the roads are bike roads, and the bike roads have bike stoplights, and the bike stoplights have like little hand things that you put your hands on so that you don't have to get off your bike every time there's a red light for your bike. And I got a bike. I rented a bike for the whole time I was there, and it was amazing. It was perfect. I love to ride my bike anyway here on campus, and to find out that there was such a convenient way to do it all over the city for miles and miles and along canals and like in and out of like bakeries, delis, it was so cool. That was the best part.